Tennessee State head coach Rod Reed, the Tigers, coming off a 26-24 win over UT Martin this past weekend. This week they'll be playing on Saturday. They will travel to Tennessee Tech for a key Sergeant York Trophy contest. That's at 1:30. So, Coach, thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
Well, we were able to get out to a fast start on Martin, and it was much needed because we kind of bogged down in the second half a little bit offensively and lost a little steam defensively. But, good, kudos to our staff and our players for being well prepared to be able to get out to that fast start. It's a tough football team. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Jason always does a good job with those guys. So we knew once we went in at halftime with the lead that, it was going to be a battle. So, like I said, our kids fought hard. We were able to hold them off there at the end and come out with the W, and that's most important.
Let's talk about your rushing game to start too. Devon Starling, newcomer of the week in the OVC, 134 yards. He had missed the last part of the game, but then you had other people step up and 204 yards on the game for your team. So can you talk about just that continued rushing attack, and when other people have to step in, they've done it?
Yeah, we've had a pretty good rushing attack the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and we know we got to get the ball in Starr's hand. He does a really good job of finding holes and making things happen. And, he's one of those guys that you never see really falling backwards, always falling forward and finding creases in the defense. So he's done a tremendous job for us. He cramped up a little bit there right before halftime and really didn't get it worked out probably till, midway through the fourth quarter. We were able to get him back right. But, Jalen Rouse and Sabree Curtis, and then, Stretch, Davion Bryant gave us some hidden yards from the quarterback spot. He had a couple of nice rushes. So those are the things that all work together to make our rushing attack successful last week.
Was there anything different that happened in the fourth quarter that allowed UT Martin to come back into the game that your team didn't do those first 3 quarters, you said, when you got the hot start?
Well, we didn't pick up their pressure very well. They started, running a bunch of edge pressure. It caused a little confusion in the offensive line. And, we missed a couple of holes. Then we missed a couple of shots, downfield that we probably could have connected on. But, kudos to them for getting it figured out. They did a better job adjusting at halftime than we did, I guess. So our defense was on the field a little bit more than I would like them to have been, in the second half. We were only 3 of, I want to say, 13 on third down. So we got to be able to move the ball in that instance to be able to keep field position flipped and just to be able to move the ball down the field and, get time off the clock. And we want to go score. And we didn't score in the second half. I think we scored 3 points. We got to be better than that.
Let's talk about defense. And 3 different players came up with an interception. You had 3 sacks. Just the performance against a UT Martin team who has pretty good offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I was real proud of our defense, especially, our young defensive ends. We started 2 freshmen, Detoye Adewale, Chris Walker, and Emmanuel Baez, all 3 freshman kids that played well. Baez ended up with 2 sacks. Chris Walker was in the backfield a lot. And Detoye did a really good job out there. And Devon Hawkins, always plays well. Him, Teray Jones, and Cam Stewart, they really bogged up the middle a little bit, which allowed our linebackers to flow a little bit freer. And it helped our defense, especially in the run game. I think we were able to hold that team, which I thought had a really good rushing attack. I think we held them to about 54 yards rushing. The kid threw the ball 47 times. He was over 300 yards passing, but, you expect that if you're throwing the ball that many times. So good job by our guys, keeping him off his spot. We made him real uncomfortable in the pocket last week, and, he was throwing on the run a bunch. So, great job by our defensive line up front.
So this week you'll play Tennessee Tech, who and their game, their quarterback threw it 33 times. He's the backup who's now going to start the rest of the year. But what have you seen from them? And they did rush for 186 yards, and Coach Alexander said it was their best rushing performance of the year.
Yeah, good football team. They're very sound up front in their blocking schemes. They know who they're going to. They do a really good job of doubling off to the backers and whatnot. So they're really, really sound up front. And, they got a quarterback that can make it happen a little bit. He's a little bit more athletic than the last guy that they had, even though he was a good mobile quarterback also. But the Miller kid, they got more QB runs with him, and he can make you miss. He's pretty shifty, and he's got a live arm. So we've got to be efficient at all 3 levels defensively this week and make sure that we're taking our keys and doing the things that we need to do to be successful.
Couple of the other coaches answered this question, but so now we're 5 games into a 7-game conference schedule. All the games have been played so far, knock on wood. Just how can you sum up the first 5 games and what's it meant to your team to be able to play these games this spring?
Well, it's a learning process for us. We did, and just like everybody else, we didn't have an off season. We didn't have any of our kids here in the summer at all. I think our first day back on campus, after not seeing our kids for over, I don't know how many days, it felt like 2 years, but our kids got back on campus on August 11th. I think we were able to practice on the 15th. Then we were shut down for, 10 days because of some COVID issues, and it kind of shortened our fall ball schedule a little bit. And, not going into the season, not having a quarterback at that time that had played any college football at Division I level, with the exception of Isaiah Green, and he wasn't eligible yet. We knew it was going to be a learning process. We knew the learning curve was going to be a quick one, and we had to get ready quick. But I think we've seen improvement in our team from week to week, and I think defensively, always you're going to be a little ahead of the offense a little bit. Even though statistically, the stats don't show it defensively because of those first 2 rushing games. I think we gave up 300 yards on 3 carries against Austin Peay. But I think when you look at turnover margin and and things like that, we're number 2 in the league in turnover margin. We're getting takeaways. Our offense is not turning the ball over, and we're starting to be a little bit more efficient on offense. If we can connect on some of our chunk plays offensively, I think that we'll continue to move forward. So it's been tough. Last week we were without 25 players, and we piecemealed it together a little bit, and we had guys playing out of position. James Green was the Mike linebacker. Terry Stroughter was the Will. Mike Crawford is a kid that had to step up and play Sam. And in the secondary, we were banged up. So that's been the problem. Like Coach Alexander said earlier, the challenges are, getting guys on special team. You got guys taking way more reps in practice than you would like them to take, which makes injuries, pop up even more. So we're down, 3 or 4 really good defensive linemen right now with Nate Sutton, Raymond Horton, Clint Dowdy. All of those guys are out for the season. So it's been tough, but, you got to persevere and push through.
So there's 2 games left then. What are the most important things for your team to learn, some of those lessons you just mentioned that will benefit them when we get to fall 2021?
I think it's just about fighting to the finish, man, and being able to work through adversity. And, the next man up mentality, you got to be ready to play at any time, because you just don't know when your number's going to be called. And I think, I think that game Saturday was a big jump for our team. I'm hoping, learning how to win, because we had to scratch and claw there at the end to pull out of that game. They were down there and scored, and we were able to stop them from getting a 2-point conversion and recover an onside kick, to secure the victory. So our kids felt really good about it. I felt good for our kids about it, and we just got to keep that momentum going into this York Trophy game.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck on Saturday. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, thanks. Go Big Blue.